Ooh.
Welcome in. We are Fresh Talks Global Vision. I love having experts on where we are opening the arena to see what is it in it for us. And I mean that sincerely. I believe that we need mindset, transformation, entertainment, which I trademark, so that we can see ourselves, be our precious gems, and it's never selfish to say, what is it in it for me? And I'm thinking, well, yeah, so then I can serve the world. I call it hashtag speaker locking arms. We love talking about how can we take a step back and really nurture ourselves, our community, and like how can we look at it? So we're saying these are the kind of changes we could do. And if we did that, how would the world look if we just kind of started opening this up bigger and bigger? And so I love that human experience. It's my humanitarian project about stopping the blaming and shaming. And I know that Annie Delre is going to have some great stuff around with her health and wellness and psychology and the stuff that she's been doing. Welcome in, Annie Delre.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for having me.
I am happy to have you, my friend. I love how you're spicy and spunky. Hey, where did you say that you're from? And are you living there or where are you at today?
Oh, I'm from New Jersey, Central Jersey, and now I'm in SoCal in San Diego County.
How does that work? That's like
I-
the SoCal is kickback and cool. And then I'm thinking where you came from and just like, oh, hey, like, I don't know. Hey.
right. Like, yeah. And you'll see both those personalities come out. Right.
Oh, this
Yeah,
is
a little bit of
cool.
both.
I love how you have some funny things here too. I always ask about the funny things. So let me get into the bio, but I just want to read a couple of funny things too, because I think this is really fun. Here, I see something about underwear here, so this is going to be a funny thing here. But first, let me get to your bio. Annie Delre is a nationally board certified health and wellness coach with a BA in psychology and a master's degree in integrative wellness coaching. Her capstone project, titled Health Coaching as an Effective Tool for Managing Stress and Anxiety, highlights our dedication to helping clients thrive under pressure. With a focus in empowering clients to achieve confidence, wellness, and success, Annie has helped hundreds of individuals with diverse backgrounds transform both personally and professionally. She has been featured in over 70 podcasts, sharing her expertise and insights on personal growth, wellness, and professional development. Annie, before I get to your funny things like underwear and the funny thing, I know that's not the main focus, but I love to have fun with this. My friend, you've been over 70 podcasts, so no wonder why
Yeah.
you're so relaxed.
I mean, I could talk about anything. I'm like, what do you want to talk about? All right, let's go for it. Yeah,
That must be
definitely.
the Eastern time coast attitude, because I like it. It's not as casual. It's like, oh, do I have to watch what I say? Oh my goodness, I have to look a certain way, or hey, even in Northern Cal, I used to do that. I used to be, try and primp it up, and I go, you know what? I'll show up the way I look, but I really want to be like, just like, balls out. Like, how can we get wild and crazy on this? So let me find out about your funny things. I'm a wellness coach who swears by time blocking and still manages to forget why I walked into a room. I color coordinate my entire closet by clothing type, fold my underwear in a specific way, and despite loving a clean, flawless aesthetic, I'm a lefty who smudges everything I write. Also, I own my own notebooks than I own more notebooks than anyone should, and still end up writing my to-do list on a random scraps and post-its. My friend, how does all that work? It sounds like you're highly educated, highly focused in organization, but when it comes time to show up, you're still authentic. How does that happen?
Literally, that's the word, authentic. Because sometimes when I'm teaching my clients, they think I have it all together, and I'm like, you're allowed to know things and still do things your own way, or still do it 50% or 75%. It's That's called being human. I don't
Right,
want to teach people who think I'm doing it all perfect.
right.
Anytime someone's teaching me something and telling me they have the magical answer or they do it all the time, immediately I'm like, no, I see through you.
Back
No,
up, out of here. Out of here.
that's exactly it. I'm like, okay, red flag. No.
Annie, I think that you probably are ready to write a book or something. But I was going to say, unless you have already, but it wasn't on your list. I have a book that I wrote. Our screens are so narrow, so you can't see it. It's over there somewhere. But it's called The Fit Solution, and it has an FITT. And I think you are speaking to this. That last T I called thriving, like celebrating. So focus, integrate, transform, and thrive. So thriving, is there something about that? You said that we could do stuff at 25, 50%, 80%, whatever it is, but
Mhm.
that's all good. So when we start looking at just like, is that about just like moving forward and getting everything going, that we don't have to do it 100% because we're doing something different? That's getting us to where we need to get to. Can you share more about what you're talking about there?
Yeah, that's, you use the magic phrase forward movement. And like when you stumble, which will happen, that's called life, just getting back up on the horse, right? Or continuing on. It's I just normalize it for my clients. So for example, it's a sexy goal to work out 5 times a week, right? Or read 20 books in the year, right? Those are sexy goals. But why don't we start with 1 time a week workout? Why not? Because before you were doing it 0 times. So one is better than none. And just continuing to share that message with people of
Yeah.
something's better than nothing. That's why we have that phrase, something is better than nothing.
Yeah.
And we're setting these audacious goals, which is like, it's exciting. It's exciting, right? Ooh. But then when you don't hit it, you feel like crap. So like you're starting here and then you're like, oh, I'm so excited. I'm going to hit all these goals. Let me put it not in my face. And then you don't hit it. So now you're here. And it's like, okay, cool. So now we're starting lower. And now
Yeah.
you have to work so much harder to build your confidence. Why are we doing this? This doesn't make sense. So I
Yeah.
keep it real with clients.
You know what's so cool about that too is, I want to add on to that, then ask the next thing too, is
Yeah.
that when you are concerned about this 100% thing, like this perfection, it's like it gets overwhelming and scary. But
Yeah.
also the ego comes in though, because then somehow you're like one upping yourself. Like, yeah, like you're one upping yourself. But when you have a coach like you talking about this, it gives the person a feeling like what you said, human, and then they get to see that they're moving forward and they get to celebrate. And so they're not doing the thing where they're afraid to move forward, especially in health and
Yeah.
wellness. What do you see these days with that blend? If any story or something about people showing up mentally distraught and trying to focus in on their health and wellness. Can you kind of give a story? Because I know that after, COVID, after 5 years, people kind of getting back in and doing stuff, there has to be some things that you're seeing out there that relate it with like the ego and trying to make shifts, but it's also kind of scary and having a hard time with that. What are you seeing in the health and wellness?
I would say, and like maybe I'm getting a little far off with this right now, but I think it's a theme of all ages is, as we were mentioning the word ego, but if we were to go a little deeper with that, the comparison trap. So especially during COVID, we had all this time on our hands. I mean, I didn't, I worked a ton, but many people had a lot of time on their hands, right? Or potentially more than they may not have in the past.
Yeah.
And this comparison trap and being on social media or just being online and getting
Yeah.
the emails and people celebrating their wins. So I think that hits our ego as well. Because we're like, how did that gal lose 20 pounds in 3 months? And I've been trying to do it for 6 months. Or she's younger than me and she bought a house. I don't own a house. How is she pregnant before me? I've been dating my partner longer, right? Like I'm giving female examples. Of course, there's male examples as well, or like however someone may identify. But that was affecting them so much because they were like, I'm not doing enough. I'm not doing enough. Oh my gosh, this person's on their third book. I've always wanted to write my book. So this constant, or like, this is what they're wearing. I can't afford clothes like that. And it's like, yeah, but do you know that that's also secondhand? Or do you know that it was her neighbors that gave her it? Or, um, yeah, that guy may have a better car, but did you know his dad paid for it? So like you're working towards earning a car and this person was given the car.
Yeah.
So I think that's I think that plays a big part is comparing. And that's what makes us not feel so good, as opposed to like, I'm just going to stay in my lane. And
Yeah.
as long as I'm doing better than the person I was yesterday, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So again, I don't know if I was like answering that one
You
exactly, but
did. Because
okay.
I'll go deeper with that, because this is where I want to ask you these questions too. Is first off, I love that you use the word sexy, because I love sexy stuff, because sexy
Right.
food, sexy energy. It's like, it's like at that deep cell level that where you just have a really good vitality in your body. That's really very awesome. So in the
Mhm.
helping people moving forward, what does the mind do to what's happening in the body? Is that some of the space that you work in, and watching somebody stress, and maybe not just even choosing the food that's not serving them, but maybe like just like their nervous system getting affected by, just the stress in their mind? Like, tell me some more about you and your clients and what you're doing. And then I want to go into like, just take another step back and look at some other things. But I think that sounds kind of sweet.
Right. It's the mind body connection. That's why they use that phrase. Like what's going on in the mind is affecting the body. What's going on in your body affecting the mind. It's like, for example, people who eat food that know it doesn't make them feel good,
Yeah.
or drinking too much coffee. And it's like,
Mm.
yeah, but like I'll give a good example. So this is when I first started coaching, and the company that I worked for, um, you had to be diagnosed with either depression or anxiety in order to be on this platform. Those were the two diagnoses that we worked with first. And I was working with a truck driver,
Mhm.
great guy, super cool, great guy. And he's telling me he's anxious. And he's like, I can't be anxious on the road. I drive for hours at a time. Like I do overnights. I can't live this way. And I'm like, yeah, I want you safe on the road and I want everyone around you safe. So let's talk about this. So I asked him things about himself, like how much sleep are you getting? What do you eat? What do you drink?
Ooh.
These are very important things to know about someone.
Yeah.
So he's like, I'm pretty good. Like, yeah, sometimes fast food, but for the most, it's just because it's part of my job. And I'm like, I understand. I'm not here to shame you. I'm literally just asking questions. So I ask him, like, what's your water intake? How often do you drink water? And what's your caffeine level like? He's like, yeah, I'm okay with it. And then he's silent for a second, and I'm like, what's in his mind? He's about to tell me something. And he looks off screen, and I'm like, I cannot wait to hear what this man has to say. And he goes, well, I do have about 3 energy drinks a day.
Yeah.
And I was like all dramatic because I'm like a dramatic person. So I was like, okay, wait. So
Oh,
you're wondering why your heart is beating so fast and you're anxious and you're overwhelmed and you're sweating and you're feeling your body like vibrating. Let's talk about energy drinks, right? So,
um,
but and towards the end of the session, he's like, I'm a little embarrassed that I didn't think of this sooner. And I'm like, listen, and sometimes I'll call the guys dude, like depending on where they're
how
at and if
cool
they're
they
just
are.
comfortable. Right. Like if they're down for it, I am too. And I'm like, dude, you don't know what you don't know. You probably would have stopped sooner if you realized that's what was giving you panic attacks while driving. Like, of course
Yeah.
you would have either done it less or stopped completely. Like, let's not beat yourself up. You know this information now. Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. And you think about when you start drilling into that, because you were talking about not eating foods that are serving you. Like, you already know you're not eating something that's going to help you get to that next level. And when you look at your goals, and then you're talking about these energy drinks also. And but so what are you finding? What'd you discover with this guy, and just some stuff, maybe some stuff he was going through, that he was just kind of like, I just need to drink this so that it helps me get out of my head or keep energy going. Like, did you guys get in deeper about why he was choosing that stuff? Like him really starting to realize that connection of what he was doing.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And one of them was sleep. and the deadlines. He's like, I have a family at home, so I'm doing these big trips, but I don't want to miss time with my kids. So the sooner I deliver, the better. And, I don't feel comfortable at some of these stops that I have to take. So I just want to do it fast. And, people in my field usually take drugs, and I don't want to take drugs,
Wow.
but caffeine is now my drug.
Yeah.
So he's
That's
trying
not
to
as bad.
find,
That's not as bad as the other stuff. But he's talking to a person that can coach him in health. This is cool.
right. And that's how he was justifying. He's like, well, it's not speed. And I'm like, yeah, it's not speed, but we don't need to compare
Yeah.
like hardcore
No
drugs to other
comparison.
things we've yeah. Yes. Or another thing I have a lot of clients talk to me about is alcohol. So they'll say, I just have a glass of wine, excuse me, 1 or 2 glasses of wine a night.
Yeah.
But my mom used to drink a bottle. And I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, so why are we doing the comparison though? Because 2 glasses of wine 7 days a week, plus the weekends where you drink more and sometimes hard liquor.
Yeah.
So sure, your mom did drink a bottle of wine. Okay. Okay. But why are we comparing to that? Right. Like it's,
Wow.
and
You're still hurting the body.
yeah,
Yeah.
but I say this gently and depending on their personality, like a little in a joking way. Like, come on,
Yeah.
we're comparing to your mom. All right. All right. And then especially if I know their relationship with their parents.
Yeah.
So gently allowing them to see this and coming with that and woo, and myself coming in with that non-judgment.
Oh my
And
God, that's so big. So then being in the space of, can we take a step back and just look at,
yeah.
the conversations you've been having in podcasts, the communication you've been having with your clients. If you take a step back and you look at like just the human condition, I don't think that matters where we live. I think it's like there's like this vision I have that if we have people look at like their anxiety and the stuff you're talking about, whatever is important to you, if you can please even say
Mhm.
like being working with humans, like what are you finding that your heart is like, if we could just stop this feeling of people hurting themselves, whatever it is, and then maybe have a vision of what could happen in this world if we did a trajectory of like, man, what would happen in humankind if people could get reset in the space and the stuff that you're doing. So what's the
Mhm.
main thing that you feel that you're helping people with? Because I talk about the shaming and blaming and the mental condition, how it affects the body and anything we do. So what is it for you that you really notice that you hone in on people that really appreciate the work that you're doing?
So I would say mindset shifts and positivity, and just really anchoring on the positive as opposed to everything is pessimistic. Like let's do a
Yeah.
little bit more optimism. Um, oh, there was another phrase that was coming to mind. Oh, and breaking that victim mentality,
Ooh,
and
Annie
in a gentle way telling them that. Like,
Yeah. I feel like there's safety when you break through that. Like I was bummed I couldn't blame other people.
right?
I'm like, dang, I got to blame
Right?
myself. And I thought that I was going to have a hard time starting to share that with clients when I really started looking at that space. Because it's like, it's really nice to say it's somebody else's fault, but the hardest part is that it's scary because then you don't have control of like your growth and what you're doing. You're thinking, well, if I could change that person, my life would be okay. So in this world, when you take a step back, how could this human experience shift and change in our health and wellness and our psyche if we just took on that I'm not that victim. I get to write my own life, my own story.
Yeah. The phrase that comes to mind actually is like, not my circus, not my monkeys. Like, okay, that's a you problem, not a me problem. And I'm going to be over here doing me and you go do you. And um, in a perfect world, our lines won't cross again. But if they are your coworker, your boss, whoever it may be, okay, let's talk boundary settings. And that's another huge topic that we have, boundary
Mhm.
setting.
Mhm.
And also back to forward movement. Like, do we have a minute? Because I just want to explain something really quick that I think also may help with mindset shift.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And I'm not trying to like take over, but this
Take over.
I'm like, okay, wait. Let me turn this.
I want my
But
own podcast. Hold on, let me take over.
no, it's more of, I think this encompasses everything that we're talking about right now. And why I love coaching, I guess, is I'm gonna answer a question you didn't ask. But
Cool.
surely I think this will help. Okay. So I promise I'm not trying to like get in the driver's seat. But when I meet with clients, usually the coaching world is still a little new. Okay. That, if you say the word therapy, whether you participated or not, you're pretty familiar with what to expect.
Yeah.
So I'll explain it as compare them. I'm like, okay, therapy, you are coping with the present, but spending a lot of time in the past. Why? Why am I like this? Why are they like this? I'm going to dig deep. Let me explore my childhood. And then again, and then again, and then again, which is okay because it does play a role. I do think healing childhood trauma or understanding, obviously, I studied psych. Understanding yourself is important. But then over here is coaching. And coaching is coping with the present, but all we care about is your future.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all we care about. And I use the phrase of like, it is what it is, what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you had childhood trauma. I don't want to discount that. But now what?
Yeah.
Yes, your mother was narcissistic. I understand. That is very hard. Okay. I don't want to discount that. But now what? Especially when you're an adult. Your mom doesn't finance you. She's not feeding you. She is not housing you. Well, sometimes they are, but
She might be.
she might be. But 18-year-old plus, like it's time to make your own decisions. So you can blame your mom till you're blue in the face. But
Yeah.
why are you giving power? And changing that phrase of not because of you, it's in spite of you,
Yeah.
I did blank.
Yeah.
So sorry, I just like took that over. But
No, I
victim
like that.
mentality.
I think also, and it explains this whole thing about like if we could take on our own stuff, and I think
Mm,
we're moving forward, we get connected with the past because we're like, oh, I have a blocker here. What's going on? What's going on? And so stories will
yeah.
come up, and it's like, then you get to realize that what's really cool about not blaming somebody is that that actually really is your superpower because I know when I first started thinking about this, and tell me what you think also, is that I know that I can feel pain just based on my past experience. It means I can't compare myself to anybody because whatever I'm feeling, I can't, there's no words for that because my background teaches me how much deep I hate myself or I love myself. Not
Mm,
love myself is moving forward, but so you can't really explain that part of it, but you get to understand inside you how much pain you have. How can you relate that to what's happening now so you can bounce up and just do extreme opposite. So if you have really deep stuff going on, then that's good because once you open that up, you bounce even higher because that pain that you felt, you know that you don't want to go like it bounces you so high, but you can also ground it once they start getting a handle on things. I like that.
totally. And that is that's an exercise I do with people with anxiety, sometimes depression, but depending on the severity, I do recommend they go to a therapist. I'm like, coaching isn't appropriate, or if you do want to work with a coach, um, unfortunately, I won't be the coach that would fit because I think therapy is more appropriate right now.
Yeah.
But again, especially with anxiety, I do the what if game. And let's say I work with a lot of professionals and public speaking is something they're worried about or performing. And
Yeah.
they're like, well, what if I say something stupid in the meeting? Okay, but what if?
Yeah.
Okay, my coworkers will think I'm stupid. And what if they do? Well, maybe they'll talk about me behind my back. And what if they do? And and then they realize like, okay, well, I'm not going to get set on fire.
Yeah.
I'm not going to die. I'm not going to faint on camera. Well, it's hopefully, but it kind of makes it silly at one point where you realize when you dig enough, they're like, oh, okay, right. Yeah, I can
Very
say
cool.
something.
I didn't realize how cool I am. Thank you, Annie.
Yeah.
And where can people come and play with you, like for your health and wellness and getting connected with you as a coach? Is there a specific spot, or like, give me some information how we can get connected and keep this game going?
Probably Facebook, just because a lot of people have it. I mean,
Yeah,
definitely my website. I love that because they can just get direct contact with me.
cool.
But some people feel a little too much pressure when they reach out through the site. So if they want to trickle into my world on Facebook, they definitely can. I'm the only Annie Delre on the internet. Like, no one has my name,
Oh, yeah,
which
that's
is just,
great.
it's
That's
insane.
awesome.
So you won't find a different one.
Uh, Annie, thank you for being here. So what I got is that you're rocking awesome. We talked about your underwear, and that you like to play the what if game, and you want to know that people don't have to stay in there like, oh, poor me, but you help them because you get to play with them, and they really start seeing how silly some of this is. But also the
Yeah.
psychology in your background, you get to really see, where they're going and what you want to do as a coach, which is moving forward. That feels safe to me. I really
Yeah.
appreciate
Oh,
what
good.
you're doing.
Thank you. And thanks for giving me this platform. Thanks for letting me go off the rails a little bit. I appreciate you.
Yeah, that's what this is all about. It's a conversation, man. I don't want control. I just want to play so much. So I believe Fresh Talks Global Vision that what we got here is so many good gems. I want you to be able to connect with Annie Delre, the only Annie Delre around in the universe. At least when you look on and keep playing with this, because the more that you get to be in a safe space with these people that we're interviewing, these experts, I call them superstar speakers, because they're out there and opening space up and making life to be fun. Because right now we feel very heavy. We have people that are going to hospitals because they're overly stressed, that they can't even manage their day-to-day stuff, and you want to be with somebody that kind of plays and does that. So come in and check in Annie Delre. Thank you, Annie, for being
Thank
with us.
you.
I
Thank you
appreciate
for
it.
having me.
Oh, it was so much fun. Mwah. Everybody have an insightful day. I love you. Remember, when you come from your heart, we're able to really focus on locking arms with others. Let's stop the blaming and the shaming out there. Let's get in truth, because my humanitarian project, it's so important to partner, because everybody has their own vision. And as much as we can partner, we'll stop the comparison game, which Annie was talking about. We'll get into who we truly authentically are, and we'll love ourselves more, because nobody can be like you. So love you. Thank you, Annie. I
Thank
appreciate
you.
it. Catch up with you guys soon. Bye-bye.